Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Ask you please stand for the pledge flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I want to welcome everyone to this regular meeting this evening. We have two hearings, a public hearing and then a hearing on an unsafe building. So I'll read the notice of the public hearing. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Cornwall will hold a public hearing on the 14th day of May, 2018 at 7 o'clock p.m. at Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Cornwall, New York, for the purpose of considering a proposed franchise agreement for cable television service in the unincorporated area of the town, except for that area served by Frontier in the western part of the town, with Time Warner Cable Northeast LLC known as Charter Communications, Inc. Copies of the cable franchise application and of the proposed franchise agreement are on file at the town clerk's office, Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Cornwall, New York, 12518, and may be viewed during the town clerk's business hours between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. Town Board will, at the above date, time, and place, hear all persons interested in the subject matter hereof. Persons may appear in person or by agent. All written communications addressed to the board must be received by the board at or prior to the public hearing. By order of the Town Board, Town of Cornwall, Renata McGee, Town Clerk. This is the renewal of the, was Time Warner, now Spectrum, and Charter, I guess, is the parent corporation. And so it's an opportunity, I believe it's a 10-year?
10-year agreement.
10-year agreement. So I will declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this matter? Okay. Hearing no one, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. That was so fast, we have to wait 1 minute for 7:05. Okay, next item on the agenda is hearing unsafe building 40 Paradise Hill. Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Cornwall will hold a hearing before the Town Board pursuant to Chapter 72 of the Code of the Town of Cornwall on the 14th day of May, 2015 at 7:05 p.m. at Town Hall, 183 Main Street, Cornwall, New York, 12518, in connection with the unsafe building located at 40 Paradise Hill, Town of Cornwall, Orange County, New York, and shown on the tax maps of the Town of Cornwall as Section 36, Block 1, and Lot 19. By order of the Town Board, Town of Cornwall, Renata McGee, Town Clerk. This is on a residence on Paradise Hill that was severely damaged by a falling tree, and the building has been declared as being unsafe. The purpose of this hearing is for the property owner to have an opportunity to meet with the board and for any one member of the public that may want to comment. So I will now declare this hearing open and ask if the property owner is present for 40 Paradise Hill. Okay, noting that the property owner is not. Any public comment on this hearing? Hearing none, a motion to close the hearing?
Move.
Is there a second? Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Approval of minutes, April 2nd, 2018 special meeting, April 9, 2018 regular meeting, April 27, 2018 bid opening. Is there a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment on agenda items. Anyone wishing to speak on any item on the agenda? Hearing none. First item we have is Joan Kuzak McGurk from St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital to give the board and the community an overview on the hospital, some operations and plans. Joan, I welcome you here.
Thank you.
And thank you. You can come right up here if you want, talk to the board.
So thank you for the invite tonight. I really very much appreciate it. So I was at the Cornwall Chamber last month, and I gave an overview of the hospital, and I was asked to contact Supervisor Randazzo to do something for the board. I wish there were more people here tonight, but that's okay.
We're on video, so.
We're on video, okay.
Encourage people to watch.
So, just to give you an overview and to just refresh your memory, in 2002, St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital, two separate entities, the Cornwall Hospital and St. Luke's Hospital, the board of directors at the time, in collaboration with the CEO, realized that standalone hospitals really were going to have a challenge, as we were having a challenge, financial challenge. So we merged St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital in 2002. And just to give you an overview, 2002, we're in 2018. We're a little bit shy of $200 million operating budget. We have about 1,200 employees. We see 45,000 emergency room visits a year. We have about 12,000 admissions and about 150,000 outpatient visits. Our primary service area encompasses about 12 zip codes, 400,000 people with 250,000 people in our primary service area. So it's a big entity. In January of this year, we absolutely became the partner of Montefiore Health System. And what does that mean to this community? What does it mean to the region? What does it mean to Cornwall? It means that we're part of something bigger. I was taught a long time ago in graduate school that the whole is better than the sum of its parts. So when we look at Montefiore, this is not only are we part of a integrated system where we have tertiary care, so if it cannot be done locally, we have tertiary care. But bigger than that, we're part of Albert Einstein School of Medicine. That means that we have clinical research and clinical trials and the latest research on all the major disease entities, cardiac, oncology, urology. So that's very good, not just for the Newburgh and Cornwall community, but also for the region. We also, with being part of Montefiore, is Dr. Safia, who is the president and CEO of the Montefiore Health System, has very simple philosophy: access for all and keep the care local. And really, instead of being reactive towards illness, to really make the population healthy. So that's what we have done, and we will continue to do on the Cornwall campus. We have one hospital, two campuses, 5.2 miles apart. On the Cornwall campus, we are really promoting wellness. And that's where delivery system redesign comes into play. So over the years, we've been charged as a nation, definitely as a state and as a region, to redesign the healthcare delivery system. And that not everybody wants to go into a hospital. Not everybody wants to go into a nursing home. I started in healthcare in the 1970s. And I will tell you, 40 years ago, the hospital was the center of the healthcare system. Probably 30 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. Over the last 8 years, we realized that the hospital should not be hospital-centric. And when we look at redesigning the healthcare system, we're looking at community-focused and patient care-focused. And Cornwall Hospital, the Cornwall campus of the St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital, really is, we are transcending to a wellness center. And right now, as we speak, where I used to work as an ICU nurse, we are going to have a dialysis center there. And chronic disease management is part of keeping the population healthy. So our children, definitely our grandchildren, will not be reacting to illness. We want them to really embrace wellness. We will enhance our physical therapy footprint, and we will have clinical integration. And what that means is that when we keep the care local, if we have a gap in care, we have Montefiore to rely on, that they will bring the experts here right to the Cornwall and the Newburgh community. If it's something out of our scope, if we want to do heart transplant, if we want to do lung transplant or liver transplant, we will never do that at St. Luke's Cornwall Hospital. We have a tertiary care with clinical research right behind it at Montefiore. However, that being said, many members of this community, and when I spoke at the chamber, many people in that audience had used the Montefiore system, and what they did was the care came back locally. So we're really keeping the care locally, we're enhancing the care of the system, and I really do think, I hope you're all pleased, that we will be enhancing all the services, not only on the Cornwall campus, but the Newburgh campus. And that will be a center of wellness. So I really thank the supervisor for inviting me here tonight, and I will take any questions.
John, I have one question. I know it's not going to be an urgent care, but you are going to be, there's going to be a facility that'll be staffed with doctors where people could either walk in or make appointments?
Yes, so what we spoke about in earlier this year was open access, actually late last year, open access primary care, the concept of open access primary care. So right now, what that means is really extended primary care. Urgent care qualities, but keeping our patients in the primary care when they don't have access after hours. So we intend on doing that on the Cornwall campus. It is dependent on funding. We just put a grant in, and we're asking for $12 million, and all those dollars are being allocated to the Cornwall campus if approved. Anything else?
A question?
Sure.
Why is your parking lot always filled?
It's
I mean,
great.
what's going on there?
Yeah, so there was, maybe 10 years ago, I would stand before all of you when you'd say, how come the parking lot is always empty? We do have a lot of services at the Cornwall campus, and I don't think it's known well enough. We have pain management, we have sleep, we have lab, we have primary care offices, we have an ambulatory center, which 4 brand new ORs, they're probably about 9 years old now. We have a great deal of services on the Cornwall campus, so that's why, and we have to have valet parking. Someone told me recently, would you consider a parking garage? We thought we'd only need it in Newburgh, but we may need it in Cornwall also. But there are a lot of services. I do plan on, when we finish with our dialysis renovations, and we finish with the physical therapy and all the rehabs, I will do a ribbon cutting, and we will walk through the campus, and you'll see there's a lot there. So thank you for that question. Anything else?
Anyone else?
Okay?
Thanks
you.
very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, next I have a resolution on cable television service franchise agreement. Resolution of the Town Board, Town of Cornwall awarding a cable television franchise to Charter Communications, Inc. to provide cable service to the Town of Cornwall and approving a cable franchise agreement with Charter Communications. Whereas the Town of Cornwall, the town is franchising authority in accordance with Title VI of the Communications Act of 1934 and is authorized to grant cable television franchises pursuant to Article 11 New York State Public Service Law, Title 16, Chapter 8 of the official compilation of codes, rules, and regulations of the state of New York, the cable laws. Whereas Charter Communications, Inc. Charter is upgrading its existing telecommunications and information services network pursuant to authority under Section 27 of the New York Transportation Corporation Law and Title II of the Communications Act, and Charter desires to use its network to provide cable service in the town of Cornwall. Whereas Charter submitted a written application for a cable television franchise to the town, Charter application which the town has received. Whereas due negotiations between the town and Charter have resulted in a proposed cable franchise agreement between the town of Cornwall and Charter Communications, Inc., which proposed agreement was filed with the town on May 14, 2018, Charter Franchise Agreement, and whereas New York State Public Service Commission has sole jurisdiction over any secret proceedings in this matter, whereas on May 14, 2018, a regular scheduled town board meeting, a public hearing was held on the proposed Charter Franchise Agreement, in which members of the town board, Charter, and the public were given notice and opportunity to comment. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Cornwall finds that it approves the character of Charter, and be it further resolved, the town board finds that Charter was legally, technically, and financially and otherwise qualified to meet the cable-related needs and interests of the town, and will meet all statutory and regulatory non-discrimination requirements. And be it further resolved, the town board finds that although the terms of the proposed Charter franchise agreement are not identical to those of the franchise agreement with the incumbent operator, the terms of both agreements contain no economic or regulatory burdens, which when taken as a whole are greater or lesser than those burdens placed upon one another. And be it further resolved, the town board authorizes the award of a non-exclusive franchise to Charter to own, construct, operate, and maintain a cable system along the public rights of way within the unincorporated area of the town, except for that area served by Frontier in the western part of the town, in order to provide cable service, which authorization is made in accordance with the applicable provisions of Title VI of the Communications Act and the cable laws. Be it further resolved, the town board authorizes the supervisor of the town to enter into a franchise agreement with Charter Communications, Inc. in a form approved by the town attorney and to execute any other documents necessary to effectuate the granting of the franchise on behalf of the town of Cornwall. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. Next item is a resolution on the unsafe building at 40 Paradise Hill. Whereas heretofore, the building inspector advised that an unsafe building exists at 40 Paradise Hill, section block and lot 36-119 in the town of Cornwall. And whereas on April 9th, 2018, Town Board adopted an order directing that the building be demolished and removed, and that notice of the action be served upon the owner. Whereas a hearing before the Town Board was held pursuant to Chapter 72 of the Town Code on May 14, 2018, whereas the property owner has not, as of this date, taken any action. And whereas in order to put the said work out for bid, necessary, the town's consulting engineers, McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel, to prepare plans and specifications for the demolition and removal of the building. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. One, that the Town Board hereby authorizes McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel to prepare plans and specifications for the demolition and removal of the building. Two, that upon completion of said plans and specifications, the Town Board authorizes solicitation of bids for the demolition and removal of the building. And three, that the Town Board authorize the Town Supervisor, Building Inspector, and McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel to set a date and time for the bids to be publicly opened and read aloud, and thereafter presented to the Town Board at a Town Board meeting. Four, that all expenses incurred by the town in connection with the said demolition and removal shall be assessed against the land on which the building is located, and shall be levied and collected in the same manner as provided in Article 15 of Town Law for the levy and collection of a special ad valorem levy. And five, that the town assessor is hereby authorized and directed to take all actions necessary for effecting the levy and collection of the town's said expenses. And six, that the Town Board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents in connection with the above. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Moved, second, discussion?
Has the owner responded to any of our communication attempts?
I don't believe so.
No.
No. Okay, roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next, we have a request from Carleen Nielsen. My name is Carleen Nielsen. I'm the owner of Carleen Nielsen Art Gallery located in the Shops at 277 Main Street, Cornwall, New York. I'm hosting an exhibit on June 16th for local high school and college students to show their artwork. Since we're having a large turnout, I was wondering what the rules are for having a food truck come. It would be parked in the municipal parking lot right next to my store. If there are any permits I have to obtain, please let me know. Thanks so much. Best, Carly Nielsen. This is, you're just looking, probably occupy 1 or 2 spaces just for the food truck and whatever requirements.
We've already reached out to her.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the request?
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. I have correspondence from the Greater Cornwall Chamber. We will again jointly hold the Cornwall Goes Green Recycle Day, sponsored by the town and the Greater Cornwall Chamber of Commerce. The event will be held on June 9th, 2018, from 9 o'clock to 12 p.m. We'll be collecting shredding, which we shared in cost between the town and the chamber, electronics collected by the town, prescription drugs collected at the Cornwall Police Station lobby, and clothing collected by Encore. And there may be a couple of other booths that will be there. Second is Music at the Park will start on Sunday, June 10th, and will weekly for 10 weeks with 2 rain dates. The last concert will be August 12th, with August 19th and 26th as rain dates. Each concert will be held on the Cornwall Town Hall lawn out front each Sunday, 6:30 to 8 p.m. So, request submitted by Stacy Lyle. Is there a motion to approve both events?
So moved. Second.
Move second, discussion, roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. The next item is with regard to the electronic drop-off day. Our clerk at the Highway Department, Beazer, has done a great job in reaching out for vendors. Last year, we had to load trailers and trucks and actually transport the electronics, I believe, to Albany. This year, Beazer has contacted a company, SAMR, Supreme Asset Management and Recycling. And for the price of $4,000, we can get 2 roll-off containers where we'll be able to load them right on site without having to handle them again. They will come pick up the roll-offs, and it's out of here. So I would like a motion to approve the SAMR proposal for 2 recycling containers at a cost of $4,000, which is about less than half. It was over $8,000 last year when we got rid of the electronics, so this should cut the cost down considerably. Plus, we did get some reimbursement. I think there was a 50% reimbursement for part of it from through the DEC program. So is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Move second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next item is a resolution that I have with regard to the Phase 1 work upgrades that are being done at the sewer plant. At our work session, we discussed the engineer had contacted us regarding lines that were discovered broken off of the settling tanks to the sludge pits. Turned out that lines for both the pits were broken, plus they found a third line on one. There's 2 on each, and then there was a third one that they found that was broken. Right now, because of the fact that it was leaking, they notified DEC, and so they began work on it right away. The engineer's best estimate is, as of last week, the estimate was about $20,000 for work that had been done so far, which was about 65% complete. So if that holds true, the total may be $30,000. There is money that's in the contract to allow for these additions. So I'll read the resolution. Whereas the town has undertaken a public works project to effect repairs and improvements to the municipal wastewater treatment plant at Shore Road, whereas the town has awarded the construction contract on said project to Blue Heron Construction Company, whereas it has now been discovered that repairs and improvements to the wastewater treatment plant will require the additional work of making repairs to certain cracked and leaking sludge lines. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, that the additional repair work falls within the thresholds of the secret determination previously issued on the wastewater treatment plant project, and moreover, in-kind repairs constitute a Type 2 action under secret. 2, the town board hereby authorizes the town's consulting engineers, McGoey, Hauser, and Etzel, to prepare a change order for Blue Heron Construction Company to perform the necessary work on such sludge lines on a time and material basis. And 3, that the town supervisor is authorized to execute the same change order and any documents necessary to effectuate the terms thereof. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Okay. Next is a resolution on our agreement with our company doing business CPI-HR. We've retained them the past couple of years to monitor and assist the town with the Affordable Care Act requirements. So it's up for renewal. Whereas the town board has received the attached consulting agreement between the town of Cornwall and Corporate Plans, Inc., DBA, CPI-HR, in connection with the Affordable Care Act, ACA. Whereas the town board requires consultations and advice relating to the town's health and welfare benefits program mandated by the ACA. Now therefore be resolved as follows. 1, the town board hereby agrees to enter into the annexed agreement with CPI-HR for the annual fee of $7,650, payable in 4 quarterly installments for a term expiring on April 30th, 2019. And 2, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the same in all documents necessary to effectuate the terms therein. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Next is a resolution on the, it's third-party collateral for the banking through J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. I'll read the resolution. Whereas the town has received a proposed pledge assignment and custodial agreement between the town of Cornwall and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. as bank and custodian, whereas the bank has been designated as depository for monies of the town, whereas the bank is required to provide security for public funds of the town, whereas a custodian agreement to provide safekeeping services to the town. Now therefore be resolved as follows. The town board hereby agrees to enter into the annexed pledge assignment and custodial agreement between the town and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., and authorize the supervisor to execute the agreement and any other documents necessary to effectuate the terms therein. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. So we have a letter from New York State DEC regarding the Town of Cornwall wastewater treatment plant. Dear officials, on March 20th, 2010, a compliance inspection of the above referenced facility was performed to evaluating compliance with State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System speedies permit and Article 17 of the Environmental Conservation Law. Please refer to the attached copies of the inspection report and inspector comments for more detailed information, and note that an unsatisfactory rate has been issued for the facility. It's expected that any deficiencies noted will be corrected by the time of our next inspection. Cooperation in complying with speedies permit for the protection of New York waterways is appreciated. And there is an attached sheet. A copy has been given to KMO for any action that they have to take with regard to the
These were very
repairs.
minor items,
Yeah.
generally speaking. I'm sure they'll be cleaned up.
Okay, I have a resolution for intermunicipal agreement for the police. Whereas the town has received a proposed intermunicipal agreement between the County of Orange and the Town of Cornwall regarding 2018 state law enforcement terrorism prevention program. Whereas the agreement would permit the county to provide the town with funding for officers to attend training conducted by Orange County Sheriff's Office. Whereas the chief of police recommended the town enter into the agreement with the county. Now therefore be resolved as follows. The town board hereby agrees to enter into the next intermunicipal agreement between the county and the town, and authorizes the supervisor to execute the agreement and forward the same to the County of Orange. Is there a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Is there discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. I have a letter from Mr. Gaba. Dear board members, Secretary of State has advised that local law number 2, year 2018, was filed in the Secretary's office on April 10th, 2018, and is now in effect. And the second letter is Secretary of State's advised that local law number 3 of the year 2018 was filed in the Secretary's office on April 10th, 2018, is now in effect. The first local law number 2, I believe, was on senior income limits that we increased, and also on for disabled, and the second was the Cold War veterans.
That's exactly right.
So we just note those for the record. Okay, Sands Ring Cemetery, we want to start doing some work and improvements there. The funds have been provided from the trust fund, and the first thing that we feel that we must do from a safety standpoint is to have a tree company come in to remove any dead trees and branches, and also that when we have volunteers or others going into work in the cemetery area, that, you know, it will be safe. So the company that we use, Flanagan's Tree Service, works by the day. He estimated about 2 days' work, and the total amount is $3,550. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Or second?
Second.
Discussion? These funds will come out of the money that is provided to the town by the trust fund. Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, the motion is carried. I think, as I mentioned with regard to the Sands Ring Cemetery, I hope to have our Sands Ring board that the town board appoints get together, and we'll develop a plan for work to be done this summer to restore and improve the cemetery over the next several months. And I think it'll be a great project that will really bring benefits to the town, just from the perspective of the history of it. Most people don't even know the cemetery's there, but this will fix it up, spruce it up, and really invite people to come in and take a look at the historical significance of that cemetery. I have a resolution on the SAM grant for improvements to Town Hall, recreation facilities, and the Senior Center. This is the grant that Senator Larkin obtained for us in the amount of $165,000. And I'll read the resolution. Whereas the town has been selected to receive a state municipal facilities program SAM grant in the amount of $165,000 for improvements to Town Hall, town recreation facilities, and Senior Center. And whereas the town has received from the Dormitory Authority of State of New York, DASNY, a grant disbursement agreement for completion and execution, and therefore be resolved as follows. The town board hereby agrees to enter into the annexed GDA between DASNY and the town and authorize the supervisor to execute the same. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just wanted to say, at this point, what we'll do, this will give us the authorization with the contract and all. We'll be talking to the engineer, putting together the specifications. One of the projects is replacing all the windows in Town Hall, which is desperately needed. The second is to really improve the handicap accessibility to the rear entrance of the access, which really does need improvements for that. And the third is blacktop paving for the recreational areas, Little League Road up to the wading pool, Munger Cottage, and which really has to be repaved and all. So we appreciate Senator Larkin's consideration of the town for the grant, and the money will be well spent and benefit the community greatly. Is there a roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Have a letter from Blackrock Bass Busters. This year, the Blackrock Bass Busters is seeking permission to hold our annual Kids Fishing Derby at Rings Pond on Saturday, June 16th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. with a rain date of Sunday, June 17th. Registration for this event will begin at 8 a.m. on the day of the Derby. Respectfully, Art Twilliger, Mike Berkery, and Blackrock Bass Busters Youth Day event. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes. We thank Black Rock. This is an annual event that the kids and I think even the adults of the community look forward to each year, to spend a half a day at the pond and doing some of the old recreation fishing, so. Okay, I have a memo from the chief, respectfully requests authorization to attend annual New York State Association of Chiefs training conference to be held July 15th through July 19th, Long Island, New York. The conference registration is $300 and lodging is $149 per night, for a total of $896 for registration and lodging. There's funding in the chief's training line of the police budget. Is there a motion to approve the training?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. One item I added, the letter we have from Sandsring Homestead. On behalf of the Friends of Sandsring Homestead, we'd like to request to host an open house and rose garden dedication on Sunday, June 3rd from 1:30 to 3 p.m. Our request is to place the rose garden along the front and side of the building in the area of the kitchen. We're hoping to work with the Building and Grounds Department to plant the donated/purchased rose bushes. The Friends are very excited to continue to restore the homestead. This addition to the landscaping will allow the public to experience the historic time frame when the homestead was known as Rose Cottage. Thank you for your continued support, Friends of the Sands Ring. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Second, discussion?
What time is that?
1:30 to 3 on the 3rd. Roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. And I do want to report that the fourth graders have all gone through this past month, the Sands Ring program. The fourth graders were thrilled, and I think the school administration was very pleased to see that the children were able to come back into the program. And really want to thank the Friends and the volunteers that they had for putting that program over several days to accommodate, I think it was 9 classes in the grade? 9 classes in the grade, so. It was a great to get it open again and bring back that experience for the children, so we thank everyone for that. Okay, committee reports. Councilman Summerfield?
A little bit late today. The CCAC is looking forward to unveiling the NRI and Heritage Project, National Heritage Project maps on June 6th at their meeting, June 6th, Wednesday, 7 p.m. at Munger Cottage. They will reprise that presentation at the library on Sunday, June 10th, at a time to be announced. They will be participating in an information booth at the Cornwall Goes Green event on June 9th from 9 till 12. And that's it for them. I attended the chamber meeting last week, and that was the reason that, and Joan had done her presentation there, and I invited her to call you to do the same presentation.
No, that's good. We appreciate the update.
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Councilman Russell?
from Sewer for Shore Road for the report for April 2018 on top of routine maintenance. Happy to report that all measured parameters were within permit limits. And we already went over the inspection report. Again, everything was minor and was being addressed, so that was actually a good report. For Firth Cliff for April, on top of routine maintenance, with the exception of flow, which is 2/100ths over, everything else is in permit limits, but flow relates to our heavy rainfall that we still have seasonally, so we're still 2/100ths over at the Firth Cliff plant. For recreation, activities in May, Wednesday, May 23rd, there's a trip to Resorts Casino, depart the Senior Center at 9 a.m., Idlewide at 9:15 a.m., $25 includes transportation and $10 worth of slot play. On Wednesday, May 23rd, the Farmers Market, right here on Town Hall grounds from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and those are the new hours for the season, so 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Tuesday, May 29th, defensive driver course hosted by AARP from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I believe that's at Munger's Cottage. They did the rest of the location. That's Munger's Cottage. And it's $20 for AARP members and $25 for non-members.
I'm sorry, what was the date on that?
That was Tuesday, May 29th. Bring your AARP membership if you have
I think you have to sign up ahead of time.
They keep sending me that. I don't know why.
it. And I don't have the police report for this month. Chief, do you have anything to add?
Don't have anything, I'm not sure why she didn't get it to you, but I'll check.
No worries. And that's all I have.
Okay, Councilman McGinnis.
For the highway department for the past month, finished drainage and mulch work at Town Hall Park, performed street sweeping townwide, updated signs townwide, assisted sanitation, picked up litter, placed barrels out for Central Hudson pole upgrades on Main Street, did catch basin work on Sheldon and Curtis, cleaned the highway garage area, tree clearing around the highway garage. And new parking area was created behind the highway garage, and they did asphalt repair townwide. The comprehensive plan update committee will meet this Wednesday, the day after tomorrow, at 6:30 p.m. in the upstairs meeting room.
Is there a particular topic for that?
While we're going through the sections of the existing plan, we're scheduled to go through 2 sections. I don't have the sections with me. There will be an agenda at the door.
Was she focused on Main Street?
Yes.
Economic development?
Yes.
I think for that. I think for the next meeting. Okay, I have, Councilwoman Bunt is not here this evening. I do have the building department report. Permits issued 33. Let's see, COs, I think building permits issued 33. COs 3. 53 site inspections conducted, 6 fire inspections, 6 sign removals. Permit fees, $5,470. Fees for municipal searches, $5,400. Zoning board project opened this month, 1. And I do want to mention just on economic development, I talked to Bill Brainy, the chairman, and the break in the weather, we're hoping to get more activity on the plan that we've been working on. They've been putting together with the architect that we retained and sort of getting like a final plan on that. And hopefully, I think we're going to have some good news about Main Street coming up soon. So the other thing I want to add, just we did it at a town board meeting. It was kind of short notice, but we've been discussing over really the past year and a half about the drainage and flooding issues up on Sheldon Drive and Roberts Road. And we had asked our engineer to look at it with our surveyor to try to find a course where a complete drainage system we could put in place. It doesn't do any good to just collect the water on Sheldon and Robert Road and then dump it into everybody else's yard. So the idea is to try to get a plan that will take us all the way down to the Canterbury Brook. And the engineer came to us sort of on the last minute, I think 2 weeks ago approximately, and recommended the board that we have an aerial surveyor come over and take aerial shots of the entire area. And then, Carrie, then our surveyor, they want to use ground markings
Well, they
plot it.
tie into the aerial survey with ground control, and it will assist them a great deal in mapping out the area that's most efficient for the downhill discharge of the
Yeah,
water.
I think rather than the surveyor looking down this way and looking over this way, this aerial actually does contours, I think 2-foot contours,
Yes.
which will really help them pinpoint the best route to go. And then I think that it was $10,300, but money well spent because the surveyor would have spent a lot of time just trying to find the best water course to really do that. So we are looking at that. Once we get that course, then I think the next step the board to consider would be having the engineer put together some engineering, I guess, drawings and all. Our goal is to try to get it so it's a project that would be shovel-ready in the event that either the federal or state comes up with money for drainage projects. And a lot of times, if you have it ready to go, you get quicker consideration for it. And we've been successful in the past. So that's really what our goal is for, for the drainage up in that area. So we have warrant number 5. Is there a motion on the warrant?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Public comment on anything? Yes.
I just wanted to report out a little bit on CCAC activity. Councilman Summerfield already mentioned the unveiling of the NRI. By the way, Carla sends her regrets. You're stuck with me tonight. She can't be here. We're looking forward to the NRI unveiling on the dates that Councilman Summerfield mentioned. Also, the third annual river sweep out of Donahue Memorial Park happened in conjunction with the CCAC and Riverkeeper and the village. There were 73 people in attendance, 38 adults and 35 kids, 15 bags of trash, 17 bags of recycling, 4 tires, and hundreds of pounds of steel scrap, wood, foam, PVC pipes, 1,185 pounds total trash and recycling picked up. I will say that most of that was from Shore Road, Dock Hill, and the woods. The park itself is just fantastically maintained and amazingly clean. And that is it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hector?
The Senior Citizen Committee wants to bring this on board awareness that on June 1st, we're having a talent show at 11:30. And the senior citizens want to try to please call Karen or Valerie. And after the talent show, there will be food served. And the other comment that I have is that under the previous administration, every time I drive, every morning when I go to church, I see all those signs. Under the previous administration, it was brought in front of the board that they should get something like the village stone cake sign there, so they can put the common events. We already got the electricity there. So instead of having everybody put signs and ruin the view of the town hall, maybe you could consider that.
Thanks, Hector. Anyone else?
I just have something.
Oh, go ahead.
I just attended some of the events for Senator Larkin this week where he announced his retirement. And I'd just like the board to consider a proclamation for his service as a veteran and as a state representative, so he served his country, the state, and also the Cornwall community. So I think we should put together some kind of proclamation honoring his years of service.
Yeah, good idea. We can definitely do that. Okay.
Well, do you want to come out the timing on that, or do you want to just come right out with it?
I think we should work on it together and
Yeah.
have it ready for hopefully the next board meeting.
You want to enact the next board meeting,
Again.
which is fine. I mean, you might want to save it for the end of the year, or something, as opposed to, or maybe you want to do it now. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, why don't you draft something and then we can decide
Absolutely.
Knowing him all his years of
the
service.
time, yeah. Oh, a long time, long time. And Bill's gonna be missed. I
Absolutely.
mean, he truly will be missed. I mean, just not to go on that, but I do want to say, because I always say it, and all the years I've been in office, and Bill's been in office, he has always been there for the town of Cornwall. Whatever our needs were, he'd pick up the phone, he'd discuss the issues, he'd go to bat for you, he'd return phone calls, didn't matter what party lines, affiliations, he worked across the board for everybody. So he's done a great job, and he really will be missed. They're big shoes to be filled, but we do want to recognize him. That's a great point, Peter.
was one of the statements that he made recently was, when you called his office, it was, how can we help you? It wasn't who you are, didn't matter who you
That's
are,
right.
it was, how can we help you?
That's right. So, okay, motion to adjourn?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, roll call?
Mr. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Summerfield?
Yes.
Mr. Randazzo?
Yes, motion is carried. Thank you. Just stop upstairs for 2 minutes, I just want to touch base. Hey, Ken.